Oh, haha, sorry. Wrong settings. It's good to see you all again. As always, we start the show off on a rocky side. Guys may wonder, why am I wearing sunglasses at night? Well, today we're going undercover. We're going deep into the Ottawa Zello chat that's losing its mind. It's very active right now. It's a lot of stuff going on. So we're going to start with maybe keeping up with the current chatter. And then when it gets to a point where it's either just boring or derivative, we'll pause it, go back in time, do some analysis. We're also going to take an opportunity to see if there's any OSENT information that we can gather and use this to better understand who these people are and maybe why they are the way they are. So we're going to dive right into it, guys. I'm really excited to spend a little time watching this. I recently actually had a friend of mine just reach out and say, hey, where's the Zello Convoy stream at? So for those of you guys who've been asking for it, you got to give the people what they want, and that's what I'm here for. So without further ado, we are going to, the hell is it called? Lonely Stream, which is a great application, by the way, guys. I swear, I'm actually going to buy it tonight. I keep talking about this on the stream, about how much I enjoy using it, how fruitful it is. But I really should just fucking pay for the thing. Give me a sec here. Okay. Maybe later. All right. So anyway, I'm going to lose the glasses because that's actually like really fucking annoying. We're going to jump into the Convoy chat here. We're going to boot up Linux in the meantime. I'm just going to get the show started for you guys, and we'll see what we can see. I think this is going to be fairly interesting, if not mildly to extremely infuriating. So here we go. Convoy to Ottawa. Nothing since 9:45. Nope, scratch that. Shit's coming in. Okay. Let's do it.
Guys, the best live streams are on Facebook. One is called Not TV, and he's pretty good. By what I saw this morning, there was about 10 heavy-duty tow trucks with their decals on their vehicles all erased or covered up. And the tow truck drivers were wearing, balaclavas and, ski goggles and whatnot.
Well, I think there's a pretty good reason for why they're doing that, right? Is because the situation that's going on in Ottawa right now has gotten to a point of, like, toxicity in which extreme, like, obviously, like, I mean, there's extreme measures being taken to control this thing, or at least to get it under control. And, yeah, man, yeah, people are going to not want to know, like, or not want you to know who they are because you guys are fucking scumbags and, like, attacking people's livelihoods. Anyway, I know the same can be said about the other argument, but I think it's a false equivalency.
Yeah, same here. I don't know what's going on with Convoy East. I have it on all the time, but no one's there. Yeah, like I said, the Facebook live feed, the one that you want to look for is called Not TV, and it's pretty good. He found the tow truck drivers, and yeah, they're all covered up and just waiting.
I mean, I guess my question to this person is, like, what do you guys expect? Like, do you actually expect us to negotiate? Like, okay, we'll take the word terrorist off the table for a second, because there is a certain level that, like, or there's a certain population of people who are equating this to borderline domestic terrorism. I don't think it meets the bar for that, but it definitely is getting close. Like, there's a line, and they are very, very close to it in terms of, you know, their proximity. So I think they need to tread carefully in terms of their next steps. But there is no clear end game in a situation. Like, if you hear the protesters talk, like, they're like, we're gonna fight till the end, this is never gonna be over. Like, at what point do we think these people are gonna go home? Like, at what point do we think, like, oh yeah, no, they're gonna feel good about whatever the resolution is, and from here on out, like, everything's gonna be fine and they're gonna be happy? Like, no, there's a progressive level of a takeover of power that is trying to happen. And I don't think that these people have rational demands that can be satiated without capitulating to some really insane shit, you know? Like, again, like, you hear these people screaming in the streets, but this is about communism and socialism. Like, socialism, motherfucker, you live in Canada, where you have socialized medicine, where you have social security, where you have, you know, all of these things that are available to you as a citizen, because of, like one of the reasons why we have, like, a strongly regulated banking shit. I just lost my spot here. One of the reasons why we have an incredibly strong, or at least our banking institutions didn't crumble during the 2008 crash, is because we have so much regulation. So anyway, this is you guys can tell, like, I'm already going to start to get a little bit heated listening to these fuckers. I'm actually going to turn the chat off, because it's just going to keep doing this, and we're going to go back. Let's see what they have to say. We're going to go way back. Okay, so VI6LM is a very popular figure in this space. He's been, like, an organizer since day one. I'm not sure what his actual identity is, but he's big in the space. So just for the sake of, like, fucking around and wanting to put some of the skills that we've been learning in the previous streams to the test, we're going to start a Maltego investigation. You know what, actually, fuck, how much does Maltego cost? Let's see here. What? Jesus Christ. $1,000 a year? That's expensive. I don't think I have €1,000 purchase and go to introductory course will teach the basics where I get started by my to the end of this course. You'll have built the foundation. Your own sound investigation includes but access valid for 180 days of enrollment. Wow. Okay. So, pricing. Okay, community, which we have. Yeah, like, I can see the data about, like, this stuff would be great. I don't really care about the learning. The support I don't give a shit about. Multi-device, VM deployment supported results transform up to 12. Okay. Too expensive. So hold on. So how much is Pro? I can't believe that. $1,000 a fucking year. Like, no, what is that in what is that in Canadian? 999 00. You are in CAD. Yes. Oh, okay. Maybe if I like have some insane stock windfall that I'm not expecting to get, we can go down that road, but that's not gonna be happening. Like if it was like $300, like I might not balk at it, especially with how much I want to start playing with this. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, that's gonna be a little too much for me, dog. Okay, so we're gonna whip up Maltego real quick here, and when we do that, we're gonna create a new project called Freedom, and on that project, we are gonna start to build some personas on people and see if we can find out things about them. And again, this is all going to be using like public information databases. This isn't even hacking. This is just straight up like information gathering, intelligence, if you will, open source intelligence. So we're going to do person, and we're going to start with an alias. And the alias is VA6LM. And we know that there's a person behind him. And why can't I move out there? Oh, I think this is what I want to. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to too deep in the fucking weeds on you guys here. Let me see if I can make this actually a bit bigger, because I feel like the resolution is just like fucked. All right, let's jump in. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there's something.
Oh shit! Sorry, guys. Nope. Oh my god.
Going on in Ottawa there today, but I think what's happening is that some of the organizers are making the rounds. They are going to different groups of people and talking to the different groups of people. And as the organizers were making their rounds, that's where the police came in there, and there was some kind of police interaction. So that's what I saw in the video there just a little while ago. Everything is calm now. Yeah, we're just trying to. Yeah, this channel here is for information purposes, you know. And again, don't know what the laws are, and don't post anything that's illegal, because you might get in trouble. But it seems like what's happening is that some of the people that are the leaders are making the rounds to the different locations where there are people and crowds. And there was something that happened between the protesters and the police, and the protesters were yelling to not do anything, stand down, whatever. Just be good, and nothing really happened. The police kind of went on their own way. Not too sure why the police were there in the first place, but yeah, that little incident happened today, so we're just kind of watching that.
Well, guys, because I think it's time for you to go. You know, like, I think it's time for you guys to, like, peace the fuck out. And, yeah.
So they got the cops involved and stuff, and the owner came and picked up his truck from the operator and took it out. As they were taking it out, though, and Pat King was down there and stuff, they got that truck out. We snuck in 3 more and blocked it off the trailer. It was a good job. And then it got pretty dicey there for a second. A lot of people circled a bunch of cops, and they did get surrounded, and Pat King.
So as you can see, yeah, there's a few things that happened down there, if you could hear.
So one of the narratives that has been persistent among a lot of the chats that I've been reading, just because my glasses are kind of crooked and I look like a freak. One of the things that's been super persistent in a lot of these conversations and chats is the idea that the police are on their side, that the military is going to stand up with them, and as they approach more and more resistant, we're going to see that like pro-cop stance start to erode. We're going to see them apply like interesting cognitive dissonance to, oh, these cops are Antifa or some crazy shit like that. Like it's going to get really, really wild here.
Yeah, I heard that loud and clear. I had the video up when you were when you first put it up, but now I can't find the link. I keep scrolling back, but
Well, yeah, that's more information as to why the police were there. There was something to do with a guy and his truck, and it kind of blew up a little bit into the crowd there. Like the fire department is going to downtown there.
There you go. Agitators are paid.
Say
right?
happened? What?
Agitators aren't paid. Bad people just exist in our camp, and theirs can't be helped. Okay, so I mean, that is a fair statement. Libs get trucked. Oh my god, that's pretty. I gotta say, it's pretty good. I don't have a lot to. It's a witty pun.
Yeah, so I just reviewed a little bit of video footage here, and it looks like what happened was right up on Metcalf, there's a row of trucks the front of the trucks are facing west on Metcalf, right on Wellington, right in front of the Parliament building. Well, apparently they moved a bunch of trucks around so that the guy that was right at the very front could back his truck up the whole block, turn around, and he left. And then 3 other trucks went and filled in that position where he was. So basically, probably 1 truck wanted to leave, so 1 truck left is what I...
Interesting. So one of the things too that I find interesting about this is how like the people, like, who is Vina Fey? Like some Viva Free. Let's see who that is. So it's just some guy.
You know, that sort of thing going on. That's a proper emergency situation. This is ridiculous calling this an emergency situation. This is a peaceful protest, has been.
This isn't a peaceful protest, okay? This is a siege of a city. They have ceased the ability for people who own businesses in downtown Ottawa to operate those businesses. They are restricting the enjoyment of Ottawa from the citizens that live there. They're blocking, emergency vehicles, even though they're not. There's still a slowdown that's happening as a result. And in general, there is an incredible tone of like hostility and like abject just humiliation for the people that live there, because they walk around and they're just getting berated by these absolute fucking psychopaths. It's insane. So anyway, this person's not a journalist. Like, yeah, they have what?
Joe Rogan literally at the epicenter of the culture war. Who would have ever thunk?
Who the fuck is this guy? He's just some douchebag YouTuber? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, why is this guy... Oh my god. Here's their fucking... These are their idols, guys. Like, this is the media that they are consuming constantly and getting continuous reinforcement on. I don't know, man. We're just starting to get like a little bit into the thick of it here, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, it's just like one thing that I will say is, if we go to my previous streams and we look at some of the chats and the conversations that are going on, there is a noticeable marked increase in just the rhetoric and the level of insanity. And I mean, I'll see if I can point it out. Like, okay, blah, blah, blah. Happened to live stream, a little crest brutal. So CNN is lower than dirt then? Officially. Like, again, like, who gives a fuck about CNN? CNN's not like a Canadian news like CNN is garbage, sure, but like, I don't think Canadians rely on CNN at all for any news. Like, they don't cover Canadian politics. They don't know who any of our politicians are, except for maybe Justin. Like, they don't even know who Aaron O'Toole is. So who gives a fuck what CNN has to say? Like, anyway, it's a non-starter. Or go teach in journal. Jesus Christ. I like this view on the... Oh, here we go. Here's
Frey. Viva Frey.
Business ties with immunity, with no due process being a constitutional right.
But he's going to respond. He's going to respect the Constitution while applying the Emergencies Act.
So, I mean, Canada. So, the Constitution of Canada, right? Let's see what's in the Constitution of Canada. Was the British Act of Parliament outlined system of government, which combines Britain's Westminster monarchical government, blah, blah, blah. The Constitution Act 1982, endorsed by all provincial governments except Quebec, was the formal act, blah, blah, blah. Legislative independence of the United Kingdom. Constitution was elected under the schedule, blah, blah, blah. Parliament introduced a request for joint address by the Queen and the Senate. Okay, so as noted above, this is part of the Constitution Act. The Charter is a constitutional guidance for the civil rights and liberties of every citizen in Canada, such as freedom of expression, religion, and mobility. Part true addresses the rights of Aboriginal peoples in Canada. So what we're really talking about is the Charter, right? So like fundamental freedoms. This is what the culture calls fundamental freedoms, namely the freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, freedom of thought, freedom of belief, freedom of expression, which we're going to look up, freedom of the press, freedom of communication, freedom of peaceful assembly, and freedom of association. Okay. Okay, this is just freedom of speech in general. This isn't necessarily a delve into Canadians' freedom of speech. But I don't know. I still struggle to see how any of this is infringing on anyone's rights, because again, like what continually gets deflected is what these people are infringing on others. Like they are disrupting the normal operation of our capital city, and they're not going to stop until like Justin Trudeau leaves office, and that shouldn't even be on the table. Like they're not going to stop until like conservatives are empowered. That like this movement should not be about changing the political tide. If they really want to end things like mask mandates, like they should come and say, I don't care what politician ends it. It could be the NDP, it could be the Liberals. I'd love it if Justin Trudeau would end the mandates, and then I might like him. Right? But that's not the conversation we're having. Also, there's something I wrote on my whiteboard because I wanted to bring this up. Like, one of the things that I think is incredibly emblematic of these people's lack of, like, reorienting themselves in any way. So when we're making sense of the world, what that really does is we're applying a mapping to something. We're sort of figuring out, I am here, this is where I need to go, or this is my thought process to get there, blah, 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 blah. And if you're not constantly like reevaluating your position and figuring out if you are on the right course or not, you're gonna end up going the wrong way. You're just gonna be a fucking fool walking in one direction and not following, like, oh, I probably should have turned left at Albuquerque or something like that. And the other thing is that when these people live in some kind of like this like crazy like dichotomy of liberals are psycho evil people and they're fucked, like that, there is no recipe in which we have a country left if that's the type of discourse that we're going to have. Like what we really should be saying is like, I disagree with like liberals on like their policy and their blah blah blah, but they're good people, like I don't hate them. But that's not the type of stuff that's going on. That is not the tone of these conversations. So anyway.
But no due process to having your finances.
If you're providing material support for the actions of people that are attacking like the Capitol, then yeah, that is gonna be freezed. Like
shut up. Unilateral.
I actually can't listen to this guy. It's gonna fucking drive me. It's gonna drive me at the wall. Because of as for Ottawa, heard. Hi guys, I heard that we have officially ended the this guy has to be a troll. Like that's a hilarious comment to make right there. Yeah, that's bullshit. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. I usually hear something. I research first. Good for you. Love to see that people are doing their research out here. Oh no, I don't think I can watch Pat King speak without like getting kicked off this platform. He'll probably say something incredibly offensive. So Pat King was arrested and actually let out, or it wasn't Pat. It might have been the other guy, something Barker. He got let out of. You know what? Who is Pat King? That's a different guy. So, oh, this is, oh, yes. Oh, yes, this is juicy. Let's watch this, guys. This will be good. Yeah, oh, you don't know who Pat King is? Let me introduce you to Pat King. Let me introduce you to Pat King. There is a really great rant that he does that's like pretty... Oh my god, where was it? Pat King angry. It's one where he's yelling at people. He's just yelling at the camera. This might be it.
You got another thing coming.
Here we go.
I have a record the size of my fucking arm. I am not a nice person.
Wait, hold
and
on.
I know what's coming.
Here we go. Here's the whole thing.
I'm going to throw some stuff out there right now. It appears that somebody is fucking around with my Instagram, so go right ahead. Do what you want. Block me from doing live feeds. All you want. For all these people that are going around thinking that I'm controlled opposition or I'm some fucking shill, I'll tell you right now, I got more skin in this fucking game than any fucking buddy out there. I have been at this for a lot longer than you are. You guys just started waking up 2 years ago when this fucking stuff started happening. I woke up 20 years ago, and I've been at this game for a long fucking time. So anybody out there who wants to fucking say I'm controlled opposition, I'm some fucking shill, you got another thing coming. I lost my boys to this. I've lost best friends to this. I have lost family. I have lost everything to this. And anybody out there who wants to sit there and say that I'm some kind of controlled op, you got another thing coming. I have a record the size of my fucking arm. I am not a nice person. And anytime anybody out there feels that they're tough enough and they want to come and take it, come take it. I would gladly pass this badge on to anybody. Because you know...
Whoops, fuck, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. He is, anyway, you get the point. The guy, so, I'll show you a little bit more. Let me show you this. That King, white bloodline. Oh, you're gonna love this, guys. This is just some, like, here we go. Here we go.
This is the part of the depopulation. And a lot of people don't understand what that means.
Yeah,
and what there is there's an end game. It's called depopulation of the Caucasian race or the Anglo-Saxon.
So, yeah, this guy is one of the main organizers, and like they have not done any type of job at actually distancing themselves from this guy. Like there's just no shot. Like they haven't. Anyway, he's a huge like raging piece of shit. And I mean, I'm curious, like what is he, like who is Pat King? King Patrick is leading the push in the West to make change. So he's got a couple of followers. What other information can we get from him? There's got to be a way to get this guy's email address. Because if we could get his email, we could check to see if he's ever been pwned. Like using like, have I been pwned or something? Okay. No, it doesn't seem to have much. Too easy. Wonder if we could find. Oh, here you go. This is gonna be
censoring my biometrics on my face and they shut me down. I have them censoring me majorly. I wouldn't be surprised if all your feeds go down. I also have all my
that's why mine keeps going down.
all the stuff that I've done has all been erased. It's all off the internet now. There's no proof of anything that I've done with the investigations with the wetsuits and First Nations, with the hereditary chiefs, with the pipeline, the $42 billion infrastructure project. My traveling to Montreux, Switzerland to the Bilderberg conference, where I filmed 3 Canadian delegates there that had access to $250 billion of Canadian taxpayers' money.
Like, this guy, they all talk like Trump. Like, this is so Trumpian in the sense that they just have all of these, like, insane, random little, like, bits of misinformation that they seem to, like weave together as like a cohesive narrative of persecution, right? Like, oh, blah, blah, this, and they can throw out all this like super vague stuff that like, and they throw it at you like a machine gun. So who has time to like write down all the things he says and actually counter them point by point, right? What he's really trying to sell you on is like a narrative or like, this is, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let's keep going into this because I think it's going to get a little bit more interesting. Oh, here you go. William Barr. Okay, so okay, so this guy's asking about compensation. That's great. That is hilarious. Like, these people are not going to see any money. Like, I don't understand how anyone could think that there's going to be money that comes out of this for them, other than the people who are like, I don't know if I've you guys are on the stream, but like the YouTubers right now that are, I'm not going to lie. Like, if I didn't have a job and like, I would literally just walk around downtown Ottawa and just be like, yeah, this is great. Everything is good. And just make tens of thousands of dollars in super chats and just repeat back what people say. Be like, yeah, freedom is cool. Super. I love freedom. Yeah, totally. Freedom's great. And just the money comes in. It's wild. The grift is very strong with these people. Fuck. Okay, let's take a look here. Go. No. Don't care. I hope this does not bring me back to the beginning. Sick. Okay, so we can go through here. Let's listen to some more audio.
And another one bites the dust.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, copy that. I shut off text messaging except for moderators, so maybe mods, if you can check and see if there's any bad stuff in there and just block the...
Yeah, I was already on it. Sorry, I was dealing with a landlord issue. Otherwise, I would have caught on. Sorry.
A landlord issue?
That account's from 2019. Nobody banned your account from posting an InfoWars article. Trust me, no one got their account banned for that. No.
I know what account he's talking about. I believe it was yesterday, and Les blocked him for a reason. I'm not too sure. I think
Les. That's this guy's name. His name is Les. So we're going to get rid of this. Yes, we're going to put a fucking person in here. This is a person. Why does it do this? It's sometimes just the mouse on everything just stops working. What is going on? Like, the scroll works, but I can't click on anything. Okay, jeez. See, like nothing is working. Anyway, I'm gonna close this and try again. This happens all the time with the virtual desktop. And I don't know why. Okay. Less. Sorry, I just got to remember that.
It was something irrelevant that we had no proof of, so I believe Les blocked him for that reason.
Oh, when I see somebody say banned, I think banned, like their account was banned, not blocked.
Guys don't have the authority to ban people. It's cute that you think you
Hope
do,
that
though.
the agitators keep themselves in check and understand that their asshole behavior just can't be tolerated, because it's not going to solve anything. Like, this is one of the biggest protests Canada has ever had, and we've done it with very little issue so far. We need to keep it that way. Somebody's happy in the background.
If you're wondering...
Jamie has been sucking Trudeau off since day one. Okay, if there's one thing you can say about Jagmeet Singh, it is not that he sucks Trudeau off. He is constantly going after that guy. Even during COVID, he was like fairly like adversarial in terms of like what he felt like, you know, we should have been doing to mitigate and to actually like help out Canadians in that situation. So the fact that someone can say that with a straight face is like pretty fucking hilarious. Oh fuck, I lost my spot. Sometimes this app sucks. Like it is not a well-built app. Let me see if I can find my way back there. I will say I'm getting better and better at navigating Zello chats. So I'm saying I think this is gonna like delve into insanity at some point. Let's see here. Okay.
Once again, to incite the violence.
Well, that's what I see here today. I see the police inciting violence, honestly. I hate to say it, but the protesters are standing there, you know, doing nothing more than yelling. The police are getting physical.
No, you're not.
They're getting very physical.
I'm going to lose my
from
shit
what
here.
I can see.
So
they're asking the police, what is the...
So you are not following the lawful orders of the police. I know not everyone is a fan of the police. I know a lot of people say ACAB, but at the same time, if a cop tells you to move the fuck along, you just move along, dude. Like it's not worth taking a crack to the skull for, at least for what these guys are getting all like fevered up about.
End goal, and even the police don't know.
I think the old goal is to scare people so others will stay away from Ottawa. He's scared, hence the power grab. He doesn't have any original ideas. Oh my God, this is
Something about they are masking up. The only thing I can think of is they must be masking up for tear gas. Yeah, they're telling everyone to prepare for gas now. So Trudeau is going to gas the truckers.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
They haven't even done anything yet. And they're already like, "Hey, he's going to gas us. We're gassed already." I
gas people that are...
I already can't breathe. Oh, fuck. Did I do it again? I did it again. Guys. But the good news is now I know how to figure it out. I just got to find where the part where the red dots stop. Okay.
I gotta go pick up my 5-year-old here in a little bit. He'll get on the mic, and then I got some driving to do. I'm gonna be over in Sarnia around 5 or 6, and I gotta speak with some people in person about a food drive there, and then some Legion members we gotta sit down with today and tomorrow about.
Thank you so much for your service, James. We really appreciate that. Miigwech, which is thank you in my Cree language.
Okay. The co-opting of people of color and Indigenous folks in this is like kind of fucked up. And I heard this actually in the Windsor chat as well. There was like they were so excited about having a brown guy in their chat, and you could tell that they were like really being extra nice to him because, you know, like it lends an air of plausible deniability of the fact that like you don't see a lot of people of color in this protest, or at least I haven't from all of the YouTube footage that I've been watching.
Well, there's something in the works that we had discussed a while back, so we're hoping that that might work. But it was kind of to the effect that, you know, we raised all this money and they're wondering where all this money's going and they're, you know, blocking it here and there. Wouldn't it be something if that money was used for something that Justin Trudeau and the Canadian government should have taken care of way long ago, to show that Canadians can come together and take care of their own people and fix?
But that's not how we should be administering funds. Like, first off, like, okay, yeah, there's an argument to be made about every government that like funding can be streamlined and there's like waste that can be cut all the time. But I'm sorry, like, I'm not trusting a bunch of like crowdfunding to like solve homelessness or like subsidize affordable housing or the healthcare system for that matter. In fact, a lot of the folks like in these chats are like anti-science. They're anti-healthcare worker. They are straight up, yo, what's up, Chico? Good to see you, man. They are literally just like, okay. One thing that I am continually trying to remind myself before I freak out about this fucking shit is I acknowledge that these people are human beings who have legitimate, like, dreams and plights. And I think that there is, like, legitimate, like, pain and struggle. And there are material circumstances in their life that have brought them to this place. And those material circumstances are legitimate. However, they're very legitimate grievances with, you know, capitalism and, you know, our lack of ability to properly sort of distribute, you know, wealth in a way that is like, you know, just make sure most people have a roof over their head and some food in their mouths. You know, like, I get that. But what these people are not looking to augment our current system of government and say, what makes Canada great is free healthcare. What makes Canada great is our social programs and blah, blah, blah. They want to fucking take that shit back. And what really worries me is what's coming out of the States with, you know, the anti-critical race theory stuff, even though critical race theory isn't being taught in schools in the States. Like, that's a whole other talk. But, let's keep going into madness together.
With the amount of corruption that's been exposed, even with the media, that you can see blatantly on both sides, thanks to Rebel News, like, thank you. And when you show that kind of misleading and deceit and blatant gross misconduct, you can actually probably argue with the CCAP, I believe it is, to defund immediately. It would be the first thing, and those funds could be directed somewhere useful, like you're saying. But defund that 1.4 billion dollars and fund it into clean water and vertical growing, sustainable growing, stuff like that.
See what I mean? Like, there are literal like they are using these kind of same talking points of, oh yeah, we want to improve infrastructure and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, then get into politics, become a fucking civil engineer. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there are lots of opportunities for people to participate in elevating our culture and our society. And even if that means like going out and like participating in elections or demanding more from politicians, like there is a way to do these things. This is not the way. Like, opposite of the Mandalore.
There's stuff we could be doing to locally be more self-sufficient, and ultimately that's where it has to go.
Back to the stringing together of like crazy, like weird, like self-sustainability, like the xenophobia, right? Like, oh, we don't need to import, we don't need to do business with other globalist nations because meh. I'm assuming this is not the guy this is not Louis.
We want to get away from these.
This guy's a football fan.
You want to start feeding your animals probiotics so their own immune systems are better, in a communal farm system, so they're not passing this off to us. Because I don't know if many people realize right now, but even pet stores in Toronto got shut down because hamsters are giving COVID to people. This stuff is going from animal to human to animal. That's bad.
So, okay, I'm super happy to hear that you acknowledge that COVID is real and that animal transmission is actually a problem, despite what despite if you like the whole lab leak theory, there is legitimate science that sort of that came out of, and then it kind of got stamped out because people are like, oh, people are really using this as a very racist way to attack it, like to attack Asian people in general, especially in America. Anyway, I appreciate that he acknowledges COVID is real.
Have you ever watched 12 Monkeys?
Oh my. Okay. Like what can I say to you? Like, what can I say? This guy clearly saw 12 Monkeys once and is just like, that, oh man, sick move. Oh, we're living in 12 Monkeys. Like,
but it's a good flick. You should probably watch it. We have to change. Everybody has to change, and we have to get off this fast food tit that we're on. Like, we have to literally change as a society, and if we're not willing.
Wow, you know what's funny is I completely agree with this guy. I think we do fundamentally need to change. I think we need to have like a lot more like sustainability in our ecology in general, like our consumption of goods. We need to change the way we operate as like, you know, a capitalist society in order to make sure that we're like taking care of people first. Like, there's this saying that's pretty ubiquitous in liberal circles that billionaires shouldn't exist, especially in like the left and far left. You know, it's like billionaires shouldn't exist. And you know what? Sure, like I'll agree with you. But like what the caveat that I would put is like, okay, if billionaires made sure that we lived in a country or we lived in a society where everyone has food, has some type of reasonable housing over their head, we'll let billionaires exist.
They're going to keep throwing every pandemic they can at us. And we don't need to be on pharma. We can boost our own immune system. So I spent all my times on reserves as a kid with my grandfather. So I am in touch. I am a caretaker of the land. I am a tree hugger.
Clearly.
Yeah, the question is, where are the tow trucks?
Whichever tow company in Ottawa there agreed to any of that, they should be ashamed of themselves. But I know down in this area, there's no tow trucks that are going to be going anywhere near anything. And I doubt people are going to think about that even moving forward. People are just trying to get home. Even if their home's close to a border, it is what it is. People live everywhere, right? But people just need to stand behind this. And, you know, if it takes a mass food drive, it takes a lot of people having to reach into their cupboards because there's nothing much left of the grocery stores. Well, reach in your cupboard and support any way you can because...
Wow, these guys just going on a fucking tirade here.
Wow, I hope you guys are watching this. This is incredible.
Could you put your link to the feed up? I had to leave the house, so I'm not sure which one you're able to, or I'm able to watch right now. But if you could put it up to make it easier for me to throw on so I can at least listen.
Sorry, I'm on my tablet on it and I can't.
Yeah, if you...
Yeah, I'm having to install the Twitch app because I can't get it to open up in any browser. So I just won't allow it.
I'm not too sure why you're putting that up there. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, they've got all different... You know, the thing is, that's the funny part about it. They've got all different kind of police. And if you look close, they're in groups of 10. Okay, so you'll have 10 people with gas masks. You'll have another 10 people with ear protection. You'll have another 10 people that look like they just came off the street wearing balaclavas. And you know what I mean? Like, you've got so many different factions of police there, and they're all dressed differently for different occasions. You know, some with rubber bullet guns. I don't see any, you know, so-called plastic shields, though. No plastic shields, but the police are really pushing everybody. They're pushing all over the place.
This is interesting. So his statement of like, okay, so we're going to break this down a little bit. Number one, he's like, oh, they have all kinds of different gear. Well, look, and Chico, I I hear what you're saying, and I'm interested to address what you say here because I agree. But I also have a not like a controversial take, but I have a challenge for us as Canadians, and I'll get there in a second. I mean, I'm not an expert in police tactics, so like I wouldn't assume to interpret like how they. I mean, if I've seen enough like war movies in which like armies are on the battlefield. And yeah, they have archers in the front and they're like sword guys in the middle and they're cavalry in the back. Like you're gonna have layers of different types of people with different types of equipment to do different things. Also, maybe they have earmuffs on. Like what I love about this stuff is like they don't send pictures. It's all just like what I like text to speech essentially. So before we can watch ourselves, like no, you can't police yourselves. That's there's a conflict of interest. There's an inherent conflict of interest in having communities self-police, even though like I do believe in an element of community policing and police officers and stuff should be from the communities they police. But anyway, what I would say about the truckers is I think that for the most part, a lot of them seem to fall into some pretty like abhorrent thought patterns, right? They're exhibiting a significant degree of brain rot, I guess you could say. And though my visceral reaction is to much like Balcony Guy, by the way, Chico, please tell me you saw Balcony Guy. Like, if not, I think we'll still watch it even if you have, but like Balcony Guy is here. And even though like that's my reaction to these people is that I just want to like scream at them and say like, fuck you, you fucking pieces of shit. My challenge to us as Canadians is that we need to turn the tide. Okay. So if we continue to go down this road of just, and I agree, like these people are cancer, right? But what is cancer? Cancer is actually uncontrolled. Okay. Before I go into my cancer rant. Sorry, no, actually, no. I'll cancer rant and then I'll do this because it'll break the flow. So, cancer is uncontrolled cell growth, right? So there's a couple of things that happen in the DNA of your cell. There's some genes that actually get altered. And I'm grossly oversimplifying it here, but essentially, one of the genes essentially allows your cells to be immortal. So the telomeres at the end of your chromosomes that slowly degrade as cells divide. That's kind of what gives your cell a programmed cell death, or apoptosis it's called. And so a cell can divide 50 or 100 times, and that's it. After it divides that, it's done. Like it can't divide anymore. And that's because the telomeres, these little brackets that are on either side of the chromosomes, slowly get smaller, like little parentheses. They just get eaten away at, right? One of the things that cancer does is it makes it so those telomeres never degrade or are super long. And so another thing that it does as well is it alters the rate of cell division. So there's a couple of these little switches in a perfectly normal genome, right? Like a perfectly normal collective society that gets switched. And all of a sudden, you have this uncontrolled cell growth. What we are experiencing on a cultural level, in my opinion, is more akin to inflammation or cancer, right? Inflammation is your body responding to some kind of an infection or some kind of trauma by sending certain chemicals there and trying to attack it. And sometimes inflammation can get out of control and attack the human body. Same thing with cancer. It can get out of control. You can have benign tumors in your body that do nothing and just like grow and then go away. Or you can have malignant tumors that actually go to different parts of your tissues, like from the lungs to the brain or from your bladder to your pancreas or whatever, right? And so what I am saying here is that what we are dealing with, yes, is a cancer, but it's inside of ourselves. It's not a cancer that we can necessarily just cut out or easily just say, oh, just chop my arm off and I'll be fine with it. No, I'm going to miss my arm. Like I need my arm to lift stuff. We got heavy stuff to lift, right? We need these people. We need these people to be brought back over right? Because we can't just say that, like, you know, even if this is 200,000 people, right? We're not going to say like, oh, these people are done in society and they're lost to us. I admit a portion of them are too far gone. Absolutely. There's a portion of them, like guys like Pat King, who seem to be rather irredeemable. But the challenge that I pose to Canadians, and it's a challenge, man. I'm not saying it's easy. I don't even know how to do it. But I think we need to change the framework in which we're attacking these situations by saying, like, we can't win. Like, we have to break up this protest. Like, I don't disagree with that. But we can't win by just ostracizing these people. It's clearly making the problem worse, right? And so I would love to see. So all of that being said, with me, like me saying, like, we have to, I'm not saying like we have to treat these people with like an enormous degree of compassion, but we have to come at it from a place of compassion, right? We have to at least acknowledge that, like, you know, this person, like, it's like someone who's made a really bad mistake. It's like, you got to pay for the mistake you made. But if you see the error of your ways, then, like, at least we have something to move from, right? We need to give people a road to redemption. Similarly, how we hope that when we incarcerate people, that we could potentially get them to rehabilitate, even though because of the nature of, like, our criminal justice system, that's rarely the case, right? So we need to live in a world of rehabilitation. We need to challenge Canadians to say, yes, these people suck, and yes, they are cancer, but the cancer is in me. It's in you, and it's in every one of us. And we have to fight it both here and there. And sometimes that might mean embracing these people in ways that make it difficult and challenging. And with that being said, when I do see these people, I want to do this. Balcony Guy Ottawa. So this is prepare for, this is basically just like pure catharsis for anyone who feels, you know what I mean, anyone who's like, oh, I'm just like, I hate these motherfuckers so much, like they are clearly the worst. This guy is honestly maybe just the hero that we need in this country right now. So let's hear him out.
I'm not taking any fucking advice from you, you stupid bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. Fuck you.
I love how he's just like, fuck you. Like, he's so, like, honestly, if South Park does not do an episode on this guy, I'd be surprised. Like, I feel like with all the Canada stuff, like, this has to be on their radar at some point.
Fuck you. The hostages are getting their fucking revenge. Watch yourself. The police get at least fucking concerned. Here, keep this on camera, you fucking piece of shit. Well, fuck you. Fuck you right there.
Fuck you right there.
Fucking statement? Put it on your Twitter.
It's so...
Put it on your fucking Twitter. There it is. Fucking scumbag. You and your cunt fucking wife. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. There. You're a very brave man, buddy. Very brave. Very brave.
It's so good. It's so cathartic. Like, I feel for this man. Like, I truly feel his rage. Like, this is what I want to say to these people, legitimately.
Now you're trying to occupy the fucking city. Yeah, you are occupying. This is a fucking occupation. You guys are taking over the fucking border, and you jam up 911. That's no fucking way. Yeah, if we get to the fucking future, it's not by fucking taking over the fucking country. I don't want any part of what you guys have. You guys are fucking idiots and fucking terrorists. You can go fuck yourself. And there's my fucking statement. Put it on your fucking Twitter account. Share it with your Facebook friends, and go fuck yourself. Fucking kill yourself. No, I don't want to.
You dropped the kill yourself. With everything that I said, I like... No, totally. Oh, dude, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. And, like... So... What I'm consistently challenged with, or I challenge myself with, is like, all right, so like, how do I solve this problem? Like, not me as an individual necessarily, but like, what solutions do we have, right, that are actually going to allow us to coexist in a society in which things don't, like, there's literally people posting shit about like the Civil War is here. Like, it's wild. I think, yeah, let's finish this guy and then we're gonna watch some, because it gets better. It gets better.
Take your camera, shove it up your fucking ass, piece of shit. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Hey, just to make sure it's clear. Fuck you. Shut up. Shut up and go fuck yourself.
I would agree with that. But and I think that's like, that's maybe the skill that we need to figure out. How do I make that portable? Like, how do we incentivize self-reflection for people? How do we show people what the advantages and the benefits of, assessing your position on, certain subjects or certain things? Like, so I'll give you an example of like something I thought of recently, right? So people often, I've been in a lot of situations where people say like, oh, Mark, you're really smart. You're smart, blah, 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 blah. And I always remember go back to Socrates and what he said. And he's like, the only thing that I truly know is that I know nothing. And what I guess he was trying to say by that is he was trying to speak to him understanding that there were massive gaps, right, in his knowledge of the world and all things, right? And when, like, I find when I think that someone is particularly intelligent in a particular space, so whether it's like technology or science or even just things like carpentry or like trade work or something like that, right? A lot of these people will always say like, I really know the space that I operate in, but they also know what they don't know. And they often, Sam Harris has said this before in some of his talks. I'm really paraphrasing here. He's like, if you have any scientist, right, that goes to speak at a conference about something, often what they will say is they will couch their statement in something like, I'm not like the most like, I'm not the greatest authority on this. Oh, or there's probably someone in the room who's like actually smarter than me. And these people don't demonstrate that, right? They don't demonstrate a worldview in which they're like, oh, I don't know everything. Like, and I'm not supposed to, right? There's a certain amount of knowledge that I as a human can sort of ingest on a daily basis and comprehend. And instead, and I think a lot of that is driven by culture, right? Is this fact that we don't have like a good operating system. Like, we don't seem to have in our culture ways of avoiding these problems. So like, and speaking of crazy people going on tangents, I'm going to go on one more tangent. Something that fascinated me about Buddhism when I was learning about it was there's essentially, there's many different schools of Buddhism, but there is essentially a big division that happens. So when Buddhism was first like discovered, when it came out of I believe it was India, if I'm not mistaken, there was a school of thought in which they never wrote anything down. So none of the sutras or any of like the teachings or the Four Noble Truths or anything, none of it was ever actually written on parchment or any kind of paper. The way that the knowledge was handed down from like monk to monk was through song, oral recitation, of the sutras. So you would literally have these like monks in monasteries who spent their whole lives memorizing like a book worth, like almost like a Bible worth of sutras, right? And you had all of these you had all of these Buddhists from all over the world, all over Asia, right? All over India and Japan, in China and stuff. And they would come together, and the way, and when they got together in this large sort of like congregation of Buddhists, they would all sing the sutras together in unison. And it was this method of error correction, because like if anyone came together and like changed the words or didn't like sing the song properly, it's like, whoa, you're Russian, or you're dragon, like you're not keeping up here. And it was a way of having like error control or error correction, I should say, within their cultural teachings and their knowledge and stuff. And then eventually they decided this is insane that we're not writing everything down. Let's write everything down. And then like the sutras were actually written, and that was kind of the new school of Buddhism that forked into more. So I guess what I'm trying to say is here's like, we don't lack that kind of like cultural error correction when it comes to like our ego, right? There's a little bit of that in religion, depending on which like religion that you subscribe to, not so much in the monotheistic ones, in my opinion. But anyway, let's listen to this guy rant a little bit more, because like it gets a little bit better. There's like a minute more of his just like absolute like fuck you.
Fuck you. I don't give a fuck, man. I don't give a fuck about you. Go the fuck home. Nobody fucking cares about your bullshit. Walk around with your fucking tailgate party and your goddamn nonsense. Nobody fucking cares. Exactly. Put your fucking camera away. Shove it up your fucking ass, piece of shit. You done fucking touch. Fuck you, and fuck you. There, you done get my fucking statement last time? Fuck off. Go fuck yourself. You work for TTT? Yeah, exactly. Then go drive the fuck home. You drove here to be part of a terrorist fucking insurrection, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Freedom? Freedom is walking down my fucking city. Fuck you. Hey, freedom is down here with my life? You don't fucking get it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck off. Fuck you, man. There is no help for this guy. Let's go. Shit. Yes, he likes communism.
I guess he likes communism, because there it is, guys. There it is right there. That's what it's about, right? It's about communism and fighting communism. No one in Canada is a fucking communist. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that sentiment. I back it, in fact. And the problem with that approach and that attitude, as much as I love it, and I fundamentally am just like, ooh, that felt so good to watch, there's nothing that he did but embolden those people, right? And that's the problem when you have we're ignoring the system dynamics that are occurring right in front of us, right? We're ignoring polarization in motion. The fact that you have these two tectonic plates that just keep mashing together and speeding up and gaining more friction until it's gonna fucking explode, right? And no one is saying, it's like, okay, maybe it's just like reel this back a little bit. But I mean, there's no fun in that, guys. And look, there is an element, like all media has always been, a lot of it has been predicated, like journalism is something that journalists do at newspapers, right? And newspapers are really media companies. They're about selling papers, getting distribution, having readers. Journalists are the people who write the copy that brings us to the table. There are some incredible journalists out there that do incredible work in their communities, and they are critical to us being able to make sense of the world. However, the interests of media companies and corporations and advertisers and blah, blah, blah often cause issues, right, in the integrity of that relationship, which sows which sows this air of, people are like, oh, the media is bullshit because blah, blah, because the corporate, okay, yeah, that's true, but that doesn't mean that there's not good journalists doing good work at these media companies, and we should listen to them. We need to have more cohesive ways of detaching these things without burning the whole house down. And that's where I'm we need to find a framework, like almost a black AI box that we can pump this crazy into and get clean thought, like clean out the brain rot a little bit. Anyway, speaking of brain rot, I want to see the problem is they only enable at certain points. Actually, let's go. You know what? Let's go to the more recent stuff. Let's fucking fast forward ahead, because I want to see what's going on the ground now. There's 745 people. I've noticed it's been kind of swelling between, like 700 to 1,000, depending on what's going on. But let's see. We'll just go back like a little bit here. Okay. Here we go.
This is definitely on the NDP and the Liberals' hands, and even the Green Party. Like, she piped up from her little corner up in the far back, stating that she supported this. And Andrew Scheer very quickly pointed out that she was also arrested at an illegal protest defending what she felt was right, too. So a bit of a hypocritical person there. Look up.
Sorry. And I'm sure none of these people are hypocrites.
Look up one of Trudeau's cabinet ministers there. She actually attended a cockfight over in I think it was Cambodia or something like that. She went there and attended an illegal or I guess maybe over there a legal cockfight. Okay. So right there, I lost 100% all respect for her. Those people that claim she's an animal lover, but yet goes and places a bet on 2 chickens to rip each other apart. It'll be a hard lesson for people to really consider who they're voting for, and that you're not only voting for the person, you're voting for the entire party. And I hope they really research what their party actually has in it for people.
How's everyone doing out there tonight, guys? What do you guys all think about the police and everything rushing in on everybody?
Russian. For me, honestly, these guys have never seen police rush on shit. If they think this is... Guys, I was almost kettled in Toronto during the G20. Like, I had several very negative interactions with police, even though I was, like, working in an office and, like, working in, like, no, I'm going to my place of employment. Like, I'm not a protester. I'm just trying to go to work. And they're being absolute fucking cocksuckers. And... you know, it rained so hard that day, and it was fucking shitty cold rain on a summer day. There was like hundreds of people kettled, people gassed, like it was fucking brutal, dude. And they have never seen like, do you want to let's just for context, guys, because let's again, we're all about injecting reality into the system here. So what was it? There was a big Vancouver what was it? G20? G8? Was it the G8? Let's see if we can find this. I can't remember the fucking... It was like... There was a crazy... protest. It was like the World Bank or IMF protest. Damn, I can't remember, but they were crazy violent. Like there was like protesters and like being like having the shit beaten out of them. And I actually have a theory about this, about why the police have not just gone in and fucking beat these people down. And here's my theory. When we see like most protesters in the street, what do we normally see? We see people who are fighting for things like workers' rights, indigenous rights, vegan rights, some wild stuff. Like before COVID, like a lot of protesting was for like a lot of like liberal lefty for you know teachers in Ontario did a big walk on to Queen's Park. Thank you, thank you, Chico. Thank you. That was gonna drive me crazy. That like fuck, I can't remember when that happened. Oh my god, I gotta look this up here. Now I gotta look it up. Let's see. G20 Vancouver.
You fucking piece of shit. You protect the fucking bastard of the world. You're fucking happy about yourself, huh? Fucking piece of crap. I would be proud too to fucking protect people who rob people. You fucking stupid piece of crap. Tell me what.
but there was still
Like,
hunt. Believing the criminals were hiding among the peaceful demonstrators, they moved in.
I'm sorry, guys. Are we seeing this in Ottawa right now? Like, I'm having a hard time just seeing if this is similar to what's happening in Ottawa. Because, so back to my theory. The reason why the police can get away with doing this to fucking these protesters is because most people are like, oh, these guys are hippie. Like, I don't really give a shit, you know, whatever. Like, it's almost a level of dehumanization. The average person does not have a lot in common with the G20 protesters or people who are fighting for homeless people or whatever. They just want to, like, get on with their lives and do whatever it is. But seeing truckers or just everyday Canadians get fucking treated like this, all of a sudden everyone, or like when I say everyone on that side, like everyone on the right is all of a sudden, if they do it to those truckers, they're going to do it to us. They're going to come into our cities and our homes, and we're going to see an insane level of like just inflammation to go back to my previous point. And so what really my theory about why the cops are being so like hand-holdy and with kid gloves with this whole situation is because of that connection is like, if people, average people who support these people at home, see police beating them down in the street and macing them and hauling them off in like the numbers that maybe they should, it's going to lead to like more riots, more like they will escalate their behavior in a direct response, right, to that type of thing. So again, like if we look, let's see if there's any, let's you know what, it's great. And I because I love the power of technology, you know. We went to the moon on basically a calculator, and I have like the equivalent of a supercomputer at my disposal with not only that, but like a network of tubes apparently that provide me with sweet data. And so what I can do is I can go to this wonderful website called YouTube, and then I can search for, I don't know, downtown Ottawa protest live, and let's see there's got to be someone who's live down there. And to be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if YouTube and stuff starts to get in on the game and start to suppress some of that stuff. So let's look for Travel Fun 69. This guy is usually live now, right?
At the same time, yeah, they're looking to get them out as quick as possible. You just don't know.
Witness video makes clear no one is
Some left.
suspicion, especially at
Yeah, Lori, they are regrouping. That is a fact. They already stated that. I know that. That's actually true. Yeah, yes, they are. And they will, you know what they might do? They might keep it hush slip. And then when they find another spot, if they're going to ascend again, they might just go and just go do it, right? Yeah. Yeah. There is a bunch that left. Oh, yeah, there was a bunch over here that left. There's some over here that left. There's
With his back turned to take a picture, he had no idea of the danger he was now in.
Oh yeah,
And that's
there
when
was some
I
there
was,
that left.
hit
Yep.
inside by an
Yeah, that's
officer
right.
With a riot shield.
Yeah, we might as well see what's
There
going
was
on
really
here.
no,
There's a snowman, of course, if you're just tuning in.
5 hours.
There's, of course, one gentleman here left. A couple of these guys left.
There's a snowman.
There's a snowman.
The direction we come from was
Is on the white sidecar, back window. All right, big ups. Check out 420 highway. Thank you.
They cut us off on the north side. Just
Yeah, I see a little bit of a weird difference. It's weird. I can't really quite put my finger on it. What is it? This is Toronto. I was here. I was here for this. I wasn't in the kettle. So, let me see. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We're going to have to, like, maybe we need to slow the footage down a little bit. I don't know.
that I was going to be dragged off as well.
Oh, I think... Yeah, maybe the one on the left is a little bit worse. So this is how they treat, like, young people and kids and fucking hippies, for the most part. I'm a hippie, too. I get it, guys. I'm with them. Peace. But, like... so my friend just sent me something. We're going to look at this. Hold on. Oh man, we're getting some hot intel from a good friend of mine. I'm literally telling her that I'm streaming right now, so let me just send her the link because she might actually get interested in when we watch this. Ocelot, friend of the family, who you'll know. Give me a sec here. How the hell do I share this? Share to Sarah Lowe. Boom. Okay. So, we identified some subtle differences, right, in the way that they treat young protesters versus these people. I don't think the guys on the left here, like, got a flyer necessarily, but I assume they were communicated with in some reasonable manner and given adequate notice. So the point that I'm trying to make is these, there's a fucking very good reason in which they are playing kid gloves, and it makes sense. Anyway, there's some hilarious shit that my friend sent me. We are going to look at this right now. Let's pull up the good old Okay, so this is nunchuck.io. I don't know what nunchuck... Yesterday, the Ontario Security Force sent us a matter of injunction ordering us to freeze and disclose information about assets involved in Freedom Convoy. Here is our official response. Okay. So, I believe a couple of our friends here are also techies. We got a couple of, like, sick, like, tech friends, tech bros, tech sisses, maybe even. What's interesting, there's going to be, I think, some like tech jargon in here, which maybe we can get to the bottom of. So, dear the Ontario Court of Justice, not like Dear Ontario Superior Court of Justice, Dear the Ontario Superior Court of Justice. Nunchuck is a self-custodial, collaborative, multi-sig Bitcoin wallet. We're a software provider, not a custodial financial intermediary. Our software is free to use. It allows people to eliminate single points of failures and store Bitcoin in the safest way possible while preserving privacy. We do not collect any user identity. Oh shit! Sorry. We do not collect any associated or user identified information beyond email addresses. We also do not hold any keys. Therefore, we cannot freeze our users' assets. We cannot prevent them from being moved. We cannot acknowledge the existence, nature, and value location of users' assets. This is by design. Please look up how the self-custody and private keys work when the Canadian dollar becomes worthless, so we'll have to serve you to... Oh my God, that's hilarious. So... see this. The court entitles... Oh, can I zoom this in? Probably not. Maybe here I can. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Section B as well as banks. Okay, so this is the court order itself. So what else do we got here? Hold on, Sarah. This is the scariest thing I've ever seen. Here we go. This is going to be really good. Adverse reactions. Okay. For COVID shots, the new normal. Omicron panic has taken over the world. Governments are treating unvaccinated people as the enemy. I mean, no surprises there, guys, right? Already a fail, right? Well, I mean, yeah, like this is... So this isn't true. And one of the reasons why this isn't true, and like I actually did a little bit of research. When I say research, is I talked to a couple of doctors, like physicians. I actually spoke with a scientist who is involved in vaccine research, and one of the things that I learned that was super interesting about mRNA and why it's actually kind of an attractive delivery mechanism for potential vaccines is it's very mRNA is incredibly unstable. It falls apart very easily. And we thought about using mRNA like 20 years ago. It's not a new idea. We couldn't make it work because every time we tried it, essentially, the RNA would just degrade. It wouldn't get uptaken by a cell, in which that would translate into the appropriate protein to get produced, right? The breakthrough that BioNTech, who I think was a subsidiary of Pfizer, stumbled across or discovered, was using what they call a lipid nanoparticle. So it's a tiny particle of fat that they can embed that messenger RNA in, get it into your body. Your cell, the fat is like sticky. It sticks to your cell. Your cell uptakes that fat, and then the mRNA is processed, and then it goes away. There is no physical RNA left within, like, I think it's like half a day or something. So this idea that there is something like there's a persistent nature of this technology is ridiculous. And to be honest with you guys, like, I'm not going to spend an enormous amount of time going through and trying to like fucking debunk like insane conspiracy theories. At the same time, it's important that, like, as part of our apparatus for making sense of the world, we either say like, okay, like I get how this works, or I'm not smart enough to understand it, and so I defer to experts in this space. But anyway, it's slightly terrifying that this is the kind of like narrative that's going on. So let's see. Oh, interesting. More. Let's go back to our updates here from the convoy chat. Here we go.
That's right. I agree. But so proud to see everyone stand up for rights. But you know what? Hopefully it gets it somewhere. But it seems like the police are just coming strong at us and stuff, man. But yeah, I'm so proud for this to be a part of history.
Down there, boots on the ground, or where are you?
No, I'm in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, but I've been supporting the truckers since day one, and I've been on this channel a long time, and yeah, I just love what they're doing.
I only took the plunge and deactivated my Facebook because I just don't like how this is turning, like what this is turning into, like, as far as how I'm feeling about stuff. And it's just very overwhelming that all you see is just posts on it. So I deactivated my account, and I'll just get my updates from YouTube and pick a few news sources and find out updates and stuff on here.
Absolutely, hon.
Look at Facebook, and I look at people even just on my own profile who are calling us all terrorists and racists and white supremacists, and they're literally jumping for joy right now because of exactly what's happening in Ottawa. And some of these people are ex-military, and I just found it disgusting. And
wow, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're disgusting. It's like veterans are everything. We want them on our side until they don't agree with us, right? Until they're not on our side anymore. And oh wow, she said something like super telling that I actually wanted to hold on. Where the fuck was that message? Please tell me I didn't go past. Sorry, I didn't. Can I? Okay, I want to. Oh, whoa. Oh. We can. Oh man, if we used, we could do. Guys, this is like. This is some on-sit right here. Bad idea. We'll get back to this. We'll get back to this, gentlemen. Anyway. Fuck. Sorry. Like the chat keeps like bringing it down to the bottom because people are still talking insanity, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Also, guys, thanks for sticking around. It means a lot. I know it's late, but I don't sleep anymore because of the existential crisis of what's going on in the world, so neither should you. Where was that crazy bitch? Sorry, I gotta find that message. I really want to dive back into that. Okay. Okay, I think I went too far. But like, there's something that she said that was just like super fucking. Okay, here we go. You know what?
Yeah, personal contact information I can give if anybody PMs, and then I'm going to buy a bunch of phones today and tomorrow, and then I'm up in Toronto again later tomorrow afternoon, so we can all sit down in person, and I believe I got to hit up Ottawa as well. Easiest way for now, logistically, is...
Okay, hold on a second. I will find this chat. I just got to go a little slower. Go a little bit slower. I wanted her to finish her thought. How she's like unfriending people on Facebook, and the thing that I think is there's something just like very telling about like her headspace and the toxic nature of like the direction this protest
That's so
is going
funny.
in.
Did you hear that guy? It's like balancing the budget with all these cops here, hey?
Well, you know how Trudeau balances the budget. He just does nothing.
Kind of like what the cops are doing, right? So it kind of fits together there.
You know, I feel so bad for the police because they know that the protesters are not really protesters. They're just demonstrating, and they're just out there because they want freedom. That's all. It's a bunch of people that just want freedom. And the cops, this is your job today, Mr. Police Officer. You are going to go out there and you're going to crush anyone that wants freedom today. That's your job.
Hey, Les, I'm not sure if you know, most streamers, they use what's called OBS broadcasting software. It's a free open source software that allows people to stream online. He's actually, in fact, using what's called Streamlabs, which is a GUI version of it.
That's not right. That's
not Antifa
so
software, my guy. I actually use it too as I stream.
Antifa software.
95% of live
What did?
streamers use
Okay,
it.
sorry. We missed something. We missed something awesome. By the way, I will introduce you to my alter ego really quickly for those of you who have not met Tarn Krasny. I fit right in. There's just no questions about my allegiance to freedom in the Canadian Trucker Convoy. Okay, we're gonna turn this off, because that's what keeps tripping me up is the new messages come in. And it just like knocks me out. I really wanted to hear that woman finish her thought. I'm sorry that I'm getting obsessed with this, guys, but like, it's kind of maddening to hear like I don't know about you guys. Like I'm fascinated, but also terrified by the level of like mental gymnastics, if you will, that these people have to do on a consistent basis. Like, I mean, kind of no wonder they're all like burnt out and exhausted and like can't keep like a cogent thought in their head because they're constantly on like it's like brain crack. I don't know how to describe it. It's absolutely bizarre. Okay. We're going to start here, and we'll just see where it takes us.
It doesn't. We tried this already. We wish it could be that way because all the troll stuff that they put on here, we wish we could delete it. Unfortunately, like I said, it's written in stone on here. It's there, and it can't be removed. That's kind of why I body slammed you by cutting you off there. I gave you an elbow smash, you know what I mean? Sorry. You are a mod already. That's why you're able to talk. Only mods can talk on here, so you're already in like sin there, buddy. And that was valuable information, and for people that are heading back or whatever. So we appreciate that part of it. But yeah, all those kids could hear that. Yes, that's very, very true. And you know what? I get your frustration. Trust me. You don't know how much I've had to hold my tongue on here. I am the worst potty mouth. And like truckers too, they slip, right? They don't talk like we do, politely and stuff. So we get that people make mistakes. It's just you had said it a few times on there, and it was just like, whoa. But I get it. I'm the worst for potty mouth. Honest to goodness, I am, and I've had to change my life around to be, classy on here. So, and you know what? Here's a fun fact: potty mouth people are the most honest people for the most part.
I gotta go pick up my 5-year-old here in a little bit. He'll get on the mic, and then I got some driving to do. I'm gonna be over in Sarnia around 5 or 6. And I got to speak with some people in person about a food drive there, and then some Legion members we got to sit down with today and tomorrow about more food drives as well. Freedom Food Drive.
Thank you so much for your service, James. We really appreciate that. Miigwech, which is thank you in my Cree language.
Okay, guys, I'm doing something over here.
I believe there's some people out into access. we could use some support out there as well. If anybody's on their way home going out BC, it'd be a good stop to make as well. They're making some headline news, it looks like.
Well, there's something in the works that we had discussed a while back, so we're hoping that that might work. But it was kind of to the effect that, you know, we raised all this money and they're wondering where all this money's going and they're, you know, blocking it here and there. Wouldn't it be something if that money was used for something that Justin Trudeau and the Canadian government should have taken care of way long ago, to show that Canadians can come together and take care of their own people and fix the water situation? Sounds good to me. Wouldn't that kick him in the balls?
Guys. I'm doing something you're going to appreciate.
With the amount of corruption that's been exposed, even with the media, that you can see blatantly on both sides, thanks to Rebel News, like, thank you.
Rebel News is
and
such
when you
fucking
show
trash,
that
dude.
kind
Like,
of misleading and deceit and blatant gross misconduct, you can actually probably argue with the CCAP, I believe it is, to defund immediately. It would be the first thing, and those funds could be directed somewhere useful, like you're saying, but defund that 1.4 billion dollars and fund it buys time, is what I'm saying. So if you're allowed to...
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm having to install a Twitch app because I can't get it to open up in any browser, so I just won't allow it.
I'm not too sure why you're putting that up there. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, they've got all different. You know, the thing is, that's the funny part about it. They've got all different kind of police, and if you look close, they're in groups of 10.
We're back to.
So you'll have 10
this
people
This is good.
with gas masks.
Damn, no
you'll have
hits on
another
him.
10 people with ear protection. You'll have another 10 people that look like they just
the
came
man
off
animal.
the street.
Appreciate you
Wearing
joining.
balaclavas, and you know what I mean? Like, you've got so many different factions of police there, and they're all dressed differently for different occasions. You know, some with
we're looking into the kind of the thought processes and some of the conversations that are going on inside of the Freedom Trucker Zello chat, and we've been, you know, discussing some of the legitimate plights of, again, the material circumstances of the people, the fact that typically truckers are from the lower economic rung of our country. They do really tough work that a lot of people don't want to do. And I think the unfortunate part about this entire thing is that at least it feels like for a lot of us rational human beings is that these very legitimate sentiments are being hijacked by kind of, just the political brain rot that we're currently, dealing with as a country, and really just as a culture in general, especially in North America. Mostly the truckers, and there's a huge portion of people from the United States who are not just supporting them go truckers go, but material support. I think they were saying that there was some fund that was raised that was about $10 million. About $6 million of it was from Canadians, and about $4 million was from the United States, which is a very significant portion. I might have those ratios not 100% accurate, but I'm working on them. I want to go more into the little bit here where shit actually is going, the arrests are going down.
There's a free reign for banks. It's arguably something else going on behind the scenes as well. They're not just after trucker cash. They're doing a lot of things behind the scenes that somebody's got to picture.
And this is another thing that I see often with this movement, particularly and crazy movements on the right, is this conflation of legitimate issues. It's oh, it's the banks, it's this, it's that, and honestly, it does, and I've seen this in these chats. It doesn't take a lot to go from it's the banks to becoming very anti-Semitic or really fucking xenophobic chats.
Oh, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. This has gone way too far. This isn't just about the truckers anymore. Trudeau's way overstepped.
But he's getting 40% kickback at every single vaccine that's put out, so he has no choice.
40% kickback. So, again, there's just all these nuggets of really useless, bad information. What actually blows my mind, and I think that a lot of people No, and honestly, dude, like you're right. It is pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie. I don't do a lot of political streams. Like my friends who are regulars here, I usually talk about like science and technology. But one of the reasons why I'm interested in this is because as someone who's interested in computer science and is technically a computer scientist, I'm fascinated in how like technology is used and applied by all kinds of different groups, including protest movements and activists, and seeing some of the difference between like, so one thing that we were talking about earlier, and I apologize for those of you guys who are here, but they're saying, oh, the cops are coming down on us and they're being incredibly violent, and they're treating us like crap, and like we play on one side of the screen the Freedom Convoy truckers, and on another side of the screen like what happened in like Toronto in the G20, and like there's a very, very marked difference in how those two populations have been treated in this situation. So they're being very nice to the truckers. They might be arresting some of them, but that's because like, yo, dude, like they're not leaving. Like it's at a certain point, you got to kind of listen to the cops and be like, when I flipped on the stream on, you're not part of the day-to-day for. Oh no, and I mean one of the things, man, that like we were talking about earlier too on stream is that we also have to admit that what's going on in all of our countries right now is people who are dissenting from whether it's vaccines or they think the earth is flat, like these people are part of our communities, you know what I mean? Like we have to try and find a way to bring people back to the middle in which we can be reasonable and say, hey man, I disagree with your fiscal policy, or I disagree with maybe how you think social services should be to be applied to particular populations or whatever, but we can at least have a common shared humanity, right, and identity maybe as Canadians. But what you hear a lot in these chats, and you're gonna fucking hear it, is that like we're on one side, they're on the other, we're the good guys, they're the bad guys, we have to defeat evil. So that's the direction.
Anybody else's live freeze?
Yeah, mine did.
Yeah, mine did too. All of a sudden,
jamming it.
Yeah,
jamming it.
My audio jumped as well.
There's too many live streams, I think. This is crazy, you guys. Unbelievable.
I still have 2 live streams going. They haven't froze.
Yeah, I'm having 100% with Twitch working real good here. I'm still watching Portland Andy. He's kind of the best. And he's got Facebook's up, YouTube's up, and everything is running good for him. And if you watch on YouTube a guy who's Stunt Dummy, he's got the overview. He's like sitting up in a hotel room so you can see police are kind of, stockpiling behind a U-Haul there right now. So yeah, there's all kind of feeds that kind of shows overview and everything. Everybody. So if you look where the flags are, you can see the Australian flag, Canadian flag, whatever, where all the people are kind of gathered all around there. Yeah, that's kind of the main area, main stage area. Well, at that point in that intersection, and that's where everything is happening. But it looks to me from that overview like the police are coming in behind. Everyone is looking in a certain direction, while the police are all coming in behind where they're all standing there. There's a whole bunch coming in from that direction, so it looks like a big box in.
I think they're kind of wasting their time trying to talk to some of these so-called cops that have
so-called cops
hearing protection on. Obviously, they're not going to be able to hear what they're saying very well.
Meanwhile, Antifa is watching going, wow, man, if that was us, we would have had our heads beat in by now. So somebody is saying they saw another person get arrested, so there are...
Okay. Antifa means anti-fascist. If Antifa is your enemy, I don't know where that puts you on the spectrum. Like, maybe you don't want to make Antifa like the diametric opposite of whatever it is that you're doing. Even if you don't think you're a fascist, like, you should maybe want to be like, yeah, Antifa goes after the racist and the not. Oh, what I wanted to say earlier, which is driving me crazy, is that, like, if these guys did a better job of distancing themselves from the more deplorable people in their ranks, like Pat King, who is like open about preserving the white bloodline and how like Jews eat babies and stuff like that. Yeah, it's wild. It's
A few
absolutely
arrests
wild.
taking place, very, very minimal, and mostly it's police presence with not much action. But the tensions are from 0 to 10. They're probably at about 7 to 8 right now. Tensions are fairly high. And there's lots of police with billy clubs there. They're holding on to those clubs like they're just about ready to use them. They're holding them in both of their hands. Two-fisted clubs. And they're right on the front line there. Doesn't look good.
Yeah, they need all the goons with billy clubs against these terrorists with bouncy castles and children.
So the optic is the police with the billy clubs and the protester with the flowers in their hands. Holding.
Yeah, I would say that like a lot of people who get wrapped up in Antifa politics, like there is a certain element of them that are like, violent opposition, but like we were saying earlier, like the polarization that is going on is it's almost like self-reinforcing. You know what I mean? When you have people in America coming out and waving Nazi flags and stuff like that and being like, oh, blah blah blah, like there's going to be a reaction to that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's the right reaction, but like it.
The flowers up to the police. That's the optic.
And that's beautiful. I don't know if you saw the picture that was posted earlier in the chat. It was officer standing beside like a cruiser with a little girl handing him a flower. It's a great picture.
Okay, so what's happening now is that the police have everyone corralled in so tight that the people have no choice but to be right up against the police, and the police are still pushing. So yeah, the police are absolutely causing. They want a riot to start. They're pushing the people into a riot, is what they see them do.
Well, they want the people to go home. That's what they want. They want the citizens of Ottawa to get their city back. They want, people to be able to freely go through the city without being harassed by these people. And I think the majority of Canadians have made it very very clear that we don't want to capitulate to the majority, this very vocal minority. They can have their tantrum. They can protest peacefully like other people do. BLM went through the streets and they protested, but they did it during the day. They came, they made their point, and they went home. And that's the point, is these people at some point need to go home, right?
Like the old man is shouting, there's nowhere to go, and the police
home, you can go
are still
home,
pushing against them there. And it's pretty bad. It's absolute police intimidation, and to the point where it's into verbal contact. So it's police pushing the people, touching the people, pushing the people, and the people have nowhere to go. Guys even say nowhere to go, nowhere to go.
Oh, for sure. As soon as the moment the police entered the city this morning, they were at fault. They were in the wrong.
That was them.
Oh, I think there's a police officer that got kind of hung up in the middle of the crowd there, or something. They're saying, yeah, let him go back to his fringe minority. I think there's a police officer that got. See, what's weird about this? There's a lot of people down there. Like you see, a lot of people down there. But the thing is that it's not a normal protest. It's not a group of people running down a street with a bunch of signs, and the police show up, and the police do pushback, and the people run away and go home. The optics on this are completely different. It's not a group of people that are out on the streets that they're going to push to go home, because their home is right there. Their home.
No, these people don't live there. These people are literally from out of town. They're truckers that have convoyed in from around the country. It's a convoy that has moved across the country. Yeah, like at some point, like, again, you are totally allowed to have the freedom of assembly, but that doesn't also that other people who live in that area have like the freedom to enjoy their city. So
Is in those trucks.
it's
That
just
is
such
their
a
home.
it's such
Their
a
home is
I love how
downtown.
like
How can you put?
they certainly do lack like a serious level of perspective in terms of what police responses are actually like to protest. Like, they're right, they've never been in a protest before because they haven't been at the G20, they haven't been in the WTO protest, they haven't seen like people get the shit beaten out of them by cops. Like this dude, you know, like you are not seeing the same application of violence. And we were talking about this a little bit before because, you know, a lot more Canadians, the freedom to enjoy their city seems vague. What would you mean by that? Like my freedom to walk down, to go to the stores that are closed right now because of the protest? Like, there's literal like businesses that are going under downtown because they can't be open. They are blocking the roadways. Yeah, they are. They are actually. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say what seems to be interesting is you seem to have a very interesting opinion of this subject without knowing a lot about it. So I recommend you do some research. Peace, band. Not interested. Not interested. See you. Sorry, I don't have time for that shit. It's oh my god, it's so stupid. Anyway, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like that guy's opinions very much. So that's my first ever ban. I hope you guys don't think that I was too heavy-handed there. Felt good though. Fuck that. So anyway, here we go.
Wow, look how patriotic these people are. Like, they're willing to stay for their country. I don't know how anybody could be behind Trudeau on
So
this
anyway,
like, the cops, they don't even want to do anything. These people are approaching.
I should have
them
just
with
timed him
love
out. A ban was
and
inappropriate.
peace. No weapons, no aggression.
That's probably what I should have done.
I don't know how they could stand up to this.
Oh, and herein ride the horses. This is Trudeau's version of social distancing.
There we go. I feel better about it. I feel better.
Yeah, the
It's less
police with the
extreme.
batons there.
I literally just
pretty,
like, we have to
pretty
embrace
physical.
people and not
They
treat them
really
like
shove 'em.
cancer. You're banned.
This is absolutely incredible. I can't believe it. They're getting violent out there with those batons.
Yeah, it's the guys with the dick emblems on their shoulders there. They appear to be the Semenkos in the crowd.
Yeah, like, really, what is that? That doesn't even say they're cops or anything. Like, what clown show is that? Does anybody know?
Yeah, they're pressing everyone with the horses. There's a guy being dragged away to the west of where they're assembled. And there's another guy being dragged away.
I'm curious to know that if somebody gets hurt, how do they get help to that person when they're causing all this?
So I don't know, but it appears like they have a whole bunch of people boxed into one area, and they're
301
pushing so hard against them that they're waiting for.
Just like I think I've been hammering this guy's like a whole bunch of times. Like, this guy's making so much money from super chats. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
People to crack, and then when they do one by one, they just arrest them and take them away.
How dare them have Canada flags on them? But you know what? Look at them. They're in black.
Oh my God, they're
Yeah,
whipping
the
those
police-
horses through the crowd now. So what you do is you kettle all the people.
So when have the police not worn black? That's what the cops have always worn. Like, they wear Canadian flags because they work for the Canadian government. Like, I don't like, again, this is what kind of blows my mind about like the mental gymnastics that people are consistently doing, right? To justify like their insane worldview.
Into
It
one
blows my
area,
mind.
and then you run the horses through them. Okay, they just trampled people. In fact, they look like they trampled a cop there.
I can't believe this. I'm in absolute shock. This is un-effing believable, you guys. Unbelievable.
Well, Trudeau rules Canada with an iron fist. There you go. They just trampled people
Rules
with their horse.
Canada with an iron fist. Like, I would love to hear some kind of like evidence to that effect, or some kind of like yeah, like just like what are you talking about other than, again, trying to end like an occupation of a city? It's
Yeah, I wonder if CPAC got that on their television. I should flip over. CPAC's got their camera on there. I wonder if they're live. Oh yeah, CPAC has got something on there, but CPAC is not showing what's going on. They're showing like people just milling around somewhere away from the action.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
What did I miss?
Well, they sent the horses twice in to trample people. I think there's people injured.
You see that one there, that one cop there smiling with her eyes? There, now they're pepper spraying. Do you see that? They pepper sprayed 2 ladies in the eyes.
Should watch CPAC. They're doing a play-by-play. They're going, police are still pushing in, and there are not significant protester injuries. Yeah, right. Oh, what's that? They're carrying a girl right there away that I believe was trampled by a horse, and she's being carried away by 2 of the other protesters. Looked like a girl in a white parka trampled. Or something happened to her, but she was being removed by people. No help from the police there. Yeah, people are saying that she got trampled by the horse there. So, yeah, it's happened. They didn't need to bring any horses in there. What the hell for? So you kettle people into one area, and then you bring in the horses to run in between them.
Kidnappers.
Yeah, Trudeau, not very smart.
Well, they want violence, and they're not going to stop until there's bloodshed and people injured, and then they'll go, well, too bad. Fucking useless. Just useless. I'm sorry. It's unbelievable.
And the whole crowd is shouting freedom, freedom.
What a job.
And now it's no longer the police. They're just there doing their job and police brutality. They are just as evil as the government is. That is.
See, this is where like the scary stuff starts to happen, right? Where these people start to get some kind of, they start to draw like a link between, you know, like the government being against them. Now the cops are against them. And this is where the civil unrest starts to foment, right? And this is the kind of stuff that we really need some kind of like framework or ability to chip away at and have conversations with people that bring them back to the fold. I don't know if any of these people are actually capable of being like redeemed or brought back from the fold, but you know, time will tell.
This is when you do not stand behind your police force anymore. I know you guys don't like that, but I know, I think Queen Bee, I think you mentioned about earning the respect. Well, they're losing it.
Hey, did I see something the other day about our troops coming back from Ukraine?
On the top corner there, what's going on? Are they assembling to approach the front of the parliament? Does anybody know that front corner on Portland Andy, sir?
Thank you for answering the question.
That is going viral as we speak. I've had tech people download it, and that is going to go viral across the whole world, what the Canadian Royal Mounted Police did to a grandmother.
There hasn't been one injury here all these days.
We've been here 3 weeks. Peace and love and community is all we've seen here for 3 weeks.
And you were told to leave. And if you had peace and love and you cared about the community of Ottawa, you'd go there, you would make your point, you would protest, you could even come back. You could do what they do in Toronto, right? Because in Toronto, we have a vaccine, anti-vax, anti-mask protest pretty much every weekend like clockwork. It's their right to do that. They make a whole bunch of noise. We begrudge them and go, oh, these motherfucking idiots. But you know what? They make their point and they go home. And that is the standard for a protest, okay? So if these guys don't want to go home, I don't know.
So that's audio right from the front line. Right at the front police line there. There's a guy talking to the police. There was a grandmother in a walker. She had a walker, and they ran the police horses right through the crowd there and trampled the grandmother with her walker.
Yeah, way to go, Trudeau.
See, and I mean, this is the thing, like, they are really great at tying this back to Trudeau. It's like, oh, it's his fault. It's his fault. It's like, no, it's the fault of the, if there's a woman who's been trampled, then it really, the responsibility falls down to the people who are doing that crowd control and not, I don't know, making sure they don't, like, trample a fucking grandmother. Let's see this here. They are doing this, but worse. Oh, okay. Let's see. Mezer, thanks for coming and saying hello. Appreciate you saying, hey, cognitive disorders explain negative thing you may offend the way you see yourself, others in the world. Here's how to identify those distorted thoughts and reverse them. Cognitive delusions. Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely. Like, and I mean, I've actually said this in several conversations with friends recently, and how, like, you're familiar with like an optical illusion, right? I think most people have experienced optical illusions. You look at a certain pattern, things appear that are actually not drawn on the paper, and the way that we understand that happening is it is essentially, the way that your brain processes information. It's a glitch. It's a glitch in the system that just makes your brain see something that's not there. There's an analogy for this in the cognitive space as well, right? Where if you can have, like confirmation. There's tons of biases that you have, right? And obviously distortions and delusions. So yeah, fascinating. No, Mezer, thank you for sending this. This is very cool. Filtering, polarization, overgeneralization, discounting the positive, jumping to conclusions. Oh my God, this is like. I'm saying, did you write the play? Is this the playbook for just like these people's thought processes? This is great. This is actually an interesting little like reference material to go back and see. Like, we could do like a bingo card and go through this. It's like, oh, I got polarization. Oh, well, I got jump into conclusions. Anyway, this is great. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it.
So the grandmother in the walker was there because she wanted freedom for her grandchildren, and
So again, like, I mean, Canada is one of the freest countries in the world. We have an incredibly, like, very, very decent free press. We've got socialized medicine. We have a fairly stable economy in general. It's very dependent on the United States for the most part, but pretty stable. And it's like we're very free. Like, the only thing that we really had to give up recently is having to go and fucking deal with, putting on a mask occasionally. And yes, the vaccine mandates, but I mean, I had to be vaccinated as a child to go to school. Yes, I'm gonna get to your comment shortly here. But yeah, they're like, growing up in school, like, I remember my parents didn't get me to the doctor to get some booster shots for something. It was like the measles, mumps, rubella, or polio or something. It was in like high school. And the school was literally like, your son will not be allowed in school if he does not get this shot by this date. My dad had to drive me to the doctor and get me all vaxxed up. So we, as most Canadians who are old enough to be participating in this protest, right, straight up, like, went through that. Like, they grew up in that world. So I don't understand. I mean, when I say I don't understand, I do, but it sometimes requires a little bit of thought and understanding of things like this to have some understanding, right? In fact, like, kind of back to your so it's called schizophrenia. This is exactly what these paranoid conspiranutters do. They suffer from massive distortions, and not to mention that they also abuse fallacies like no other. Completely agree. Couldn't agree more. In fact, speaking of fallacies, and I don't know if you were here, we were showing like the footage because it is fairly telling. We have our Freedom Trucker Convoy over here, right? And as we scroll through, we can see a degree of police presence, right? So we're just going to quickly, and I'm going to apologize. Let me stop you right there. Chico, I apologize in putting you through this like quite a bit, but we got to see this comparison again. Toronto. These so-called vaccines permanently modify your genes. Polio jabs don't. That is actually not true, but thanks for playing. mRNA is not capable of changing your genetics. You need a class on how, like, genes and cell transcription, the processes in which a cell ingests different RNA. It's why you can eat plant viruses and you don't get sick. Like, one of the most common viruses that's found on peppers is in our fecal matter, but it doesn't ingest into our system. We don't uptake it. So yeah, I know it's hard for people to hear that they're wrong in these spaces, but like unless that you are like an accredited scientist who knows like a lot more about genetics than I do, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. My apologies. So anyway, what's interesting is the speaking of cognitive distortions and fallacies, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for a live example of that, by the way. We have the police response on the left, and then we have the G20 police response on the right. Robert Malone is the inventor himself. He said it. No, so I have a question for you. Is Robert Malone the arbiter of all vaccine science? Is he the only scientist that knows anything about vaccines? Also, Robert Malone has been like heavily debunked by a variety of sciences. I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time arguing with you about this because I know I'm right and you're wrong, and that's good enough for me. I actually would say to my friends in the chat, like, don't engage with this. Don't argue with someone who doesn't want to argue in facts, because again, if you have any understanding of how genetics actually works, like, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but like I have friends who are scientists who literally work in laboratories where they sequence genes. Okay, they have intimate understanding of the way that genes are transcribed in cells, the way our genes interact with their environment, what genes can do, what genes can't do. And this is all based off of experiments in laboratories that we can actually show a person who goes to school and wants to put in the effort to understand this stuff. Right. But if you don't actually want to go down the rabbit hole of investing your time in being a scientist or being someone who's a practitioner in this space, then it's kind of hard for you to argue this. So I would challenge you to talk to more people in that field. I would actually challenge you to speak to geneticists and scientists who literally spend a decade reading books, doing experiments, working inside of laboratories, and actually developing like therapies and medicines and understanding how our biology works, so that we can have a better command of our medical faculties to be able to cure viruses, to be able to live better, healthier, freer lives, free from some diseases that like absolutely cripple our population, our people, our psyche. Like imagine that we could, reduce the chances of people getting Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, which are horrific diseases that could have like serious genetic precursors, right? So I'm sorry you feel that way. Again, I encourage you. I'm not a science denier. I literally have, I can like, if I cared enough, I can literally tell you like 4 people in my life who I talk to on a regular basis who are scientists. So I'm not a scientist denier. It's again back to like fallacies. Like it's really fun that you can just like, oh, you're a science denier. Did you not just hear anything I said about science and about like my understanding of like science to a certain extent? Like you're not demonstrating any kind of scientific discourse here. What you're doing, which is interesting, is just like, well, you're wrong. You just don't know anything about it. So you deny science because one guy said a thing and he's right. And that's not actually how we like model science and come up with any, dude, no, man, animal, I apologies. That was a dick move on my part. I actually didn't mean to bring the band hammer on you. So thank you for coming back, and I appreciate seeing you. Yo, Pete, like respect. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, like again, like you can tell that you can claim that I'm anti-science because we disagree with one scientist's conclusion on like a particular subject. But like I would rather, like I wouldn't take stock in some guy that's going around on the internet talking about a bunch of stuff versus and like you don't have to listen to me. Like I encourage you to talk to scientists. Like I'm curious if you actually have friends and families who work in any type of scientific like research. Like, my sister is a PhD epidemiologist. Oh, hint, you can't. I mean, I'm like here's the thing. See, here's the challenge, right? Is that like I'm not gonna bother providing you with examples because doing so would involve me like doxing, people and like what they do. That's not something that I'm willing to participate in. And like, this really isn't like a debate channel. Like this isn't somewhere where like I get these like hilarious little angry chatters coming in. It's a small stream, dude. Like I've got a couple of cool friends who come here. We talk about science and technology. We get excited about like ideas that can make the world like a better, stronger, freer place. And it's unfortunate that you can't get behind that, and that you have to come in here and be like, oh, if vaccines are changing your genetics, like my genes are fine. I'm not. I've been vaccinated. I haven't. I'm healthy as an ox. I haven't had any issues. So, I love you, Chico. I love you guys. You guys are cool. I'm just glad it's only 5 years, not influenced many people of the World Economic Forum. No, I mean, like, well, see, here's the thing, Jen. I'm actually not trying to influence people. I think the term influencer is like horrific. I think if you call yourself an influencer, you're a fucking piece of shit, because like I shouldn't be influencing anybody. What I should be doing is having conversations with people and talking openly about things that are accepted, like the sky being blue, the world being round, vaccines being effective, mRNA not having the capacity to change your genes, like just, science stuff. And so, well, that's the thing, is like I told you, I'm not going to like provide you with research paper links. Like I'm not here to debate you and to try and change your mind, because I don't think you come from a place in which you're willing to actually change your mind. I don't think that you actually would have a standard of proof that you could offer me, which you could say, hey, serious rollerblader, if you could offer me this, I'd change my mind. Because as soon as I drop that on you, you're going to be like, well, that study's fake. That's funded by, blah, that's bullshit. I don't believe this. Blah, blah. So, like, it becomes like a game of, like, sort of like tic-tac-toe where, like, no one's ever going to win. We're just going to keep playing. So, I mean, again, like, I think it's cool that you came to say hello. I think it's cool that you came to, like, say your piece. And, that's what it is, dude. Like, we're super interested in having conversations based off of accepted science. And what I would think is like super cool is, again, I would encourage you, like, and I'm not saying this in like a fucking like asshole way. I'm not like, oh, you need to go back to school. Like, I'm actually not trying to be a dick to you. Straight up. Like, I don't want to be like an asshole. I'm not trying to be pejorative. I don't think you're unintelligent. I don't think you're like a country bumpkin. I don't know anything about Klaus Schwab. I'm not super interested in who that is. You own nothing, eat insects, and be happy. I don't even know, like, see, that's that like you're delving into like, I don't know, madness at this point. Like, what are you saying? You okay, dude? You all right? Like, not really sure what you're getting at this current juncture. But what I'll say is, I don't have any ill will towards you. I see that you're like a human being. You probably have a worldview, but like we're operating in terms in a collective agreement or a collective statement of the facts. And what's interesting about science, right, is it's pretty apolitical. It's kind of like math, right? Like math isn't like left or right. Math is math. Math is universal. And science should transcribe those things too. And I understand that you think maybe that university has been hijacked by lefties, and that's why science is super left leading. And I mean, there's obviously points that you can speak to. Like, everyone can pick a study out. Like, I'll pick a study, you'll send me a study, I'll send you a study, and we're just going to be lobbing nukes. We're not going to get anywhere with that, right? And so I again, like, my legitimate like suggestion to you as a person is, get to know more people who work in the sciences and see what they have to think, and ask them like how they know what they know. Like one of the things that I loved about science class growing up as a kid is like doing experiments. Experiments were so cool. Like, experiments were like, you got to learn about how molecules interacted with each other, and you could prove it because, it just made sense. You're like, yeah, no, if you take this thing and you mix it with that thing, these atomic bonds shift, you get different chemicals being produced like this, and we can see those chemicals. You can see them precipitated in the solution, or we can burn something off, or we can convert this to this. Keep adding me with other things other than links back. What you say? Well, then why? I mean, so John, I'll pause it with another question. Why are you here? Like, are you here because you think that like you need to that you no like I'm not even interested in anything that he has to send us or has to say. Like we're not going to go too far much down this rabbit hole. But like I'm actually curious as to what you'd like to achieve, because I don't think we're being productive here, right? Like I think you're being, you choose, do you choose what okay, all right, you're not answering any of my questions. You're being very like evasive in terms of like addressing head on, which is super typical of someone in your position when I typically interact with people like you. To be pejorative now I'm being pejorative. Sorry if that's too big of a word for you to understand. It means I'm saying something negative about you. Okay, negative connotation. Oh, sorry. I might be using big words again and I might be tripping you up. I'm trying to say that you're kind of being a dick. Like you're coming in here and like shouting a bunch of shit that's not true and just being an asshole. And like, I guess that's cool. But anyway, I'm sure at this point you're probably going to peace out because you're like, oh, this isn't worth my time. And it's not worth mine either. We were actually having like a really, really good time. There's no graphene oxide. That's like, it's hilarious that you think that. It's like there's no like you. What do you even think graphene? I mean, again, okay, John. What understanding, like what grade level of understanding do you have of chemistry? I'd legitimately like to know what grade level understanding of chemistry do you have? And I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not saying it disinfo. I'm asking you what. Interesting. Anyway. No, guys, like he's a pet. He's a pet. Don't worry. He's just a little pet. We're gonna keep him hanging around. We're just gonna pet him and say like it's okay. You're hurt, you're having a hard time in life, you think graphene oxide is in the vaccine. That's like fine for you to think crazy shit. I don't really have a problem with that. But like you're not going to you're not going to pollute the waters of my wonderful community that I'm slowly trying to piece together here with some really cool folks that have come out. We've been having a lot of fun conversations. We've been having some good chats. And like one of the things that you've missed earlier is like we've been talking about like how do we come together, right, as a group of people? How do we not be so divisive and so reactionary and so no. I again like you no. I haven't made up. So for example, okay, so like I'm gonna try and give you the benefit of the doubt here for a second, okay? If you could prove to me within reason, for example, a graphene oxide or something exists in the vaccine, if you could show me, for example, it's like, hey, dude, we randomly sampled a whole bunch of vaccines. We grabbed them from several different vaccine, sites. Are like, I'm John, are you even like listening to me or like not? Like, I'm just curious if you're listening to anything I say. But anyway, grab a bunch of random vaccines, bring them to an independent laboratory, right? Have them use spectroscopy to identify all of the elemental materials that are in that. They'll be able to tell the different compounds, the different chemicals, the different substances. And if they find graphene oxide in it, and you show me, it's like, hey, dude, here's lab results of me detecting graphene oxide in randomly sampled vials of the vaccine, then we would be able to have a conversation, which, okay, that's weird. Okay, I would agree with you. But that's not something you are capable of providing. That's not something you're willing to provide. And again, you don't even answer the most basic questions of like, what is your grade levels of understanding of science? So anyway, he's a pet. He's very cute. We're going to time him out. We're just going to time him out. He can relax. And if he doesn't like being here, he can fucking leave. Okay, guys, that was fun. That was fun doing that with you guys. And appreciate the rumble from the crew here. Everyone is just like, standing up for truth and understanding. And I mean, it's kind of like it I gotta say, it's fascinating. Like that was a very, very fascinating interaction to see someone who's just like straight up. I think there's chemicals in it, like. And again, like they're not offering any science. There's no science. And you know what? Even if I was interested, well, no, totally. And I mean, I am being tickles on the cheek, you sweet cringe. That's good. I like that. I really, really respect the hell out of that. But again, too, like I mean, it's the malignants, and again, I get it. Like, I am putting a little bit of a target on my back, and it's late at night, and all the like, I mean, you guys are here, right? All the freaks are up late at night hanging out, and yeah, man, it's just wild to see, like, how deep down the rabbit hole this goes, right? It's blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind that these people have these like that. Yeah, just I'm almost having a hard time articulating like that interaction with that person. What I find interesting about it, and I kind of mentioned this during the like when we were talking, is you there's no lobbing of studies back and forth, because then it just becomes an argue of like, I love the Ram Ranch meme, by the way. That's so sick. It just becomes like a persistent argument of your study's bullshit, your study's bullshit. And again, we don't, there's no firm ground in which we can really like sit on and start to like have like a reasonable conversation or like a reasonable argument. Respect Messer. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I really appreciate that, man.
CMPs.
Anyway, I want to go back to some of these chats, because like we're bringing out the fucking weirdos, and I think there's some more fun stuff that we're gonna hear. So let's dive into it a little bit, guys.
The horses.
Because it's hitting the fan there.
To trample.
You want Brandy Boy? Yeah, these people would probably trample their own family members.
Well, there's no.
Oh, no, you're being so unkind. I don't see. Well, you know what though? Like, I think you're right, but at the same time, like, I think it's interesting. You know, like I am. The theme of the channel, and the reason why, and I'm glad that you guys are here to hang out, it means a lot. The theme of the channel is like, I, as a kid, was fascinated by science. I wanted to go to space. I wanted to like fly through the universe. I wanted to discover everything about the world. And as I get older, that thirst hasn't really gone anywhere. And that curiosity extends to like the weird, you know, and the bizarre. And like, I acknowledge that like human nature's kind of fucked up. We got some really weird people out there, and you know, like, you gotta like, as much as there's essential of revulsion from those types of interactions, like someone, let's say, who you know, this is kind of a fucked up analogy, but it's well got in my head right now. It's like a crime scene examiner, right? Has to go to like a horrific scene, but it's their job to like, what fucking happened here? Like, how did this get this way, right? And so yeah, I'm always super interested in how we, you know, how these things happen. How do people think this way? And again, like, the ultimate goal being like, through our understanding of like the world and trying to get a better grasp on like science and just our shared humanity, can we apply those lessons that we're learning to try and save ourselves from what appears to be impending doom to a certain extent? But I don't know. We'll see here.
Or the reason to send horses into a crowd. Like, why would you do that? That's stupid.
Bullying tactics. That's all it is.
Is that one there in the truck in the corner there? Are they removing parts from that truck to move it or something?
Oh, look at that. The Whistle Stop Cafe is live. Check them out on Facebook.
It sure sounds like a lot of brainwashing over there. They're talking to the cops, and it just sounds so pre-recorded.
Well, in rebuttal of what you said about the pre-recorded, those I look at more of the agitators that end up coming in, and that's the kind of crowd that they had issues with starting crap in Washington, D.C.
Who's putting up it?
So that's an interesting connection to make. Is I think what he just said there was that these guys are similar agitators to what, like, the Antifa that
to get these
infiltrated the DC rioters. Okay, it's getting interesting,
He's okay
guys.
on his live stream. Just said that like somebody got killed. I don't know if it's true. If people can help for researchers, if it's a verified fact.
No, that wasn't confirmed. That's speculation. So no, let's not go there.
I just found one piece of video from a little earlier, about an hour or so ago. It was posted. Shows the cops, or so-called
really appreciate
cops.
that,
I
by the
wouldn't
way.
even call
Thank
them
you.
cops. Cops
It's-
shouldn't. They don't deserve that name. Pulling one protester. You don't see what leads up to it, unfortunately. Hopefully that'll come out. But they drag him between a trash can and a sign and secure the other people that are there, and they drag him back over by the one car, and the one asshat's beating him with the butt end of a rifle, just pounding the crap out of him. You see. Does anybody know how to save a video from Facebook when it's in the comments? Just came across one when they ran the horses through the
Oh, I love it.
people earlier.
See, okay, guys, Chico knows this. Messer, you might not know this, but I work in information technology. I do consulting, etc., etc. If I was to, let's say, consult, right, for these guys, like, we would have essentially like a small media apparatus set up, like almost like a central command, if you will, in which we would have like a whole bunch of computers set up running live streams, capturing those live streams to hard drives, so that, like, if any of them go down, we've got the proof. If YouTube takes the video down, we have a copy of it ourselves, right? So we're making recordings of that stuff, and then we're taking all of that stuff and we could edit and do whatever we want with it, right? And use that and disseminate it through, YouTube videos, Facebook, Twitch stream, or whatever, right? And that way you could have like some narrative control over your media. It would also like look like you have your shit together, right? So, sorry, I'm not trying to give these guys any ideas, but you get what I'm saying, right? Is there's good ways to do this, and then there's just exactly, pretty much.
And I don't know, it looked like there was 2 or 3 people down that the horses trampled.
Is anyone downtown Ottawa right now?
Well, as a U.S. citizen, I believe in boycotting quite well. You hit financially, and going forward until this tyrannical government of yours is removed, I'm boycotting any product I know that has stuff made or comes from the country of Canada.
So you're going to support the truckers and the people of Canada by not buying Canadian. Okay. It's a whole lot of food you're not going to be eating, my bud, because there's quite a bit that comes from
And
there.
unfortunately, a lot of my Ford truck parts are made up.
Sorry, now I'm not being charitable or kind anymore.
You can see as nightfall sets, the crowd has changed. So honestly, what you're seeing is a distraction. The police have put up that line just to distract the protesters, and meanwhile, they've already towed 21 vehicles.
Isn't that what I said they were going to do earlier?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. And I watched it play out there. The whole time it was like...
Yeah, I mean, and so I agree with you to a certain extent. Like, I think totally, like, there needs to be a certain level, like, appropriate level of consequence for, people who are doing stuff like this. There needs to be, like, so the reason why, in our criminal code that we penalize people for crimes is it's a punitive measure. It's a deterrent, right? Don't do this, because if you do, bad thing happen. Simple as that, right? And unfortunately, these people are now having to face the bad thing happen. Like, you do, bad thing happen.
Okay. Everyone is cheering and whatever, they're up against the police. But where's any cameras on any of the tow trucks?
Attention on the wrong stuff, guys. Like, who cares about the tow trucks at this point? Like, if there's people being trampled and beaten, like, all of your phone should be focused on that and getting that out.
So just to give you the gist of what's going on there, they're right in front of the Elgin, or at the Elgin intersection.
Okay, let's look at this and see what this. Oh, so one guy says do a screen recording of it, which is like, is okay. So horses are brought up against freedom protesters as, let's see how this goes. peaceful protesters, by the way, guys. Like, I mean, one like if you've ever seen the Gandhi movie, right? There's this moment where, you know, they're trying to walk across this bridge, and the police are essentially just like beating these protesters down, and then they just fall over, and then more protest, they get beaten, they just fall. Like, if you're really a peaceful protester and the cops are pushing you, you get out of the way. You're like, okay, like I'm falling over, like I'm out of the way now, you know, as opposed to screaming at them and starting to agitate the situation more. Also, horses love it when you yell at them. I don't know if you guys have ever been around horses, but they just love being like shouted and screamed at. It's great. This is fucked, man. This is actually kind of kind of mind blowing. Let's see.
Sorry, my fingers are too big. Really sorry.
Not able to move out of the way of the horses.
No.
So, Bezer, you make a really good point, and I've said this on. We've done a couple of these streams now where we've talked about the convoys and the protests and the current political climate, and I think that what platforms and things like Facebook and the internet have done, and by giving people a voice and everyone commenting and having a fucking opinion on something that they post up, right? These people are bored and desperate to be heard, and for the first time ever, they have found like a pretty profound audience, right? Like they have all of these people that want to listen to them, and because they're all, and I hate to say, they're all kind of fucking mouth breathers to a certain extent. I'm again I'm trying to be as charitable as I can in my current mood with these fucks, but as much as they are you know, like they're saying these things that they think are profound, and people are eating it up, and blah, 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 you know what I mean? It's a self-reinforcing circle where they think like, oh man, look how smart we are, and look at the revolution that we're leading, and blah, blah. Like, yeah, they're fucking bored. They're isolated for the first time ever. They're feeling camaraderie, right? One of the things when all of this like lockdown and everything and COVID started is I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, when we get back out there, it's going to be fucking crazy. Like, people have been locked up for so long. Like, things are going to be like a little wild, no? And this is kind of what you're seeing. Like, this is the first iteration of like people coming out and just like not knowing how to adjust in the new world, or not knowing how to kind of come out of the closet of COVID. And like, I mean, it's kind of fucking terrifying. And again, we're hoping, you know, through conversation with our peers and trying to achieve some kind of mutual understanding, that we can like talk some of these people down. But kind of like Mr. fucking vaccine bullshit that was here earlier, there's not a lot that you can do to offer these people to bring them back from the fold, right? And I think part of the problem too is that like a lot of their bullshit is also rooted in legitimate grievance. You know, they are typically poor people who work very hard jobs, who don't get paid a lot to do what they do, and their material circumstances are rough, right? They believe they found a righteous cause, and they're not correct. Absolutely. They're living a fictional movie script in their minds of rights violations. It's like main character syndrome, right? They think they're the main character, driven by unmet personal needs to be heard, to be seen, to be distracted the fact that they're deep down quite scared of the pain. No, like theory, but like, you know, the reason why we have theories is because like we see things, we make observations, you know what I mean? We see is like, I think if I do a thing is going to happen, or like, I think something is happening in this space. So, you know, your theory is incredibly sound, because again, like there's this bizarre like almost like a rubber band effect, or almost like a pendulum, you know, to this isolation. And I think that like eventually it will start to sort of stabilize, but it's going to take a couple of swings like this. Like, it's going to take some time for us as like a society to get ourselves like over these humps and start to, you know, like any type of infection that comes in your body, you have to, like, the body takes time to respond to it and to break it down and to make it into a digestible sort of fightable thing. And I think we're, if anything, I hope that what comes out of all of this craziness is that we come up with better tools for understanding the world that we live in, for interacting with people that we have differences with, and, just being able to have a more collective, shared understanding of the world. And guys, with that, it's been a long night. I've been streaming for a couple of hours. I just realized what time it is here, and I should probably get to bed. So I think I'm going to sign off. I've done enough damage. Guys, I really appreciate you guys coming out. It means a lot. Please come back. I do streams every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Tech Talk Tuesday, where we talk about science, technology. We do live demos of cool shit. We learn a whole lot of new stuff about the world. Please feel free to come by and check it out sometime. Mad respect. And like I always like to say when we're ending things here, guys, keep looking at the stars. Take it easy, be well, and try and stay out of trouble.